just one query.
Sprite cranberry?
Hey, what's up, you breathing fucking homophobes? Yeah, I fucking said it. Fuck Opa. Anywho, we are here reading more fan fiction. Brought to you by the request of fucking Jaden Williams. Yo, when the fuck are you gonna bring me this fan fiction, you stupid fucking... Anywho, let's get to fan fictions. I have two today. We're going to the great and notable Inflam Dice. This guy's this guy, he brings up all the random porn, like, you physical things no human can possibly do. All right, so we're gonna look at this one. It's called The Breeding of Fortnite Fan Fiction. 3 hybrids aren't enough to conquer the island, so Blackheart and Ashen Guard have teamed up to make an army of fish sticks and second-generation hybrids to overthrow Ice Legion. What's Ashen Guard? Oh, it's this little mamacita. I can't believe I fucking said that. And what's Blackheart? Isn't that the pirate? Yep. So we're gonna have motherfucking Jack Sparrow fuck a fucking elf, and that's what we're here for. All right. Just kind of looking at this. Oh fuck! This is very, very long. All right, Lil Stink, go ahead and put on some nice music. Put on a reverb and let me get a hit of this sick ass jewel. I want you to put in the smoke effect too when I exhale on that. All right, let's get to this. Week 2, Season 8. It was midday. The sun at its zenith. Okay. Despite it being early spring, the ball of flame was still staring down on the Battle Royalers like it was Season 5. Battle Royalers. That's a weird word to use. The verb. People were sweating, staying indoors, and taking dips in the pool of paradise palms. Today was a strange day, true indeed. The most gossip mainly about the temperature and memories of the summer prior. All across the island, the melting glacier, the mysterious dig sites, the blazing sand of the desert, the evergreen grasses and trees of the northwest. The unexpected heat wave forced constant drops of sweat from the populace of the Battle Royale island. So it's just a giant island full of must. It stinks. It's musty. Doesn't seem great. It's like walking into a boys' locker room after they, step on each other's poop. In the northeastern tropics, however, it was a completely different story. It's fucking humid there, that's what it is. Oh, Bandolet enthusiastically hacked away at the vegetation and vines of the jungle, making new trails and leaving her mark on the island. Yes, this was what she did. The fearless jungle warrior would carve a trail, name it, and then charge V-Bucks for people safe crossing access to these trails. It was a bit of a cheap strategy, though Bandolet was always surprised with the returning defaults that seemed to have no clue as to whether or not they'd been on a path before. This specific trail going around the volcano's ridge and leading to a metal bridge that she built was a bit annoying. While she did routinely scare away some random people that protested against her jungle clearing, there was just one problem. Pirates. Jack Sparrow, most importantly. The Trailblazers had her metal bridge go across the lava and end at the pirate camp southwest of the volcano. And that made some fish sticks quite frustrated, even though nobody could understand their blabber. Bandolet's threats would stick into them. But the moment she left the pirate camp out of her sight, the nagging fishes would return to try and destroy her bridge again. Eventually, Maki Master and Bandolette banded together in a final attempt to make the fish stop squabbling about. And it went quite smoothly, actually. There's like Hebrew writing. Can I actually like copy this and Control C? What does this mean? What language are you? So it won't let me copy it. That's fine, you know. All right. A little stink. Put in a screaming Hebrew right there.
No tendies on my plate.
A fish stick cried, one of its eyes staring off in another direction. Oh, you know what? Instead, go back and put in the little cave boy from what's it called? The Wild Thornberries. Yeah, I've had enough of your bullshit, Maki. Come on, Bandolette gestured her head in the direction of the fishes, pulling out a silver dagger. Thank you for bringing me here. I've been looking to feed my customers a new type of seafood. With that, Maki Master bowed as if she was going to duel somebody in some anime show, and continued mercilessly stabbed the fish like they were rabid animals, and Maki was a deranged woman in a prehistoric ages looking for food. It didn't take too long. The sushi master finished her kills and bagged the brainless pirate fish sticks with just a few bloody stains on her white apparel. I'll be going now, Maki Master bowed, taking a rift to go and heading in the other direction of Lucky Landing. Bandolette didn't even return a wave, simply going on and continuing her trail. Lazy Lagoon later that day. Preposterous. Blackheart in his human form threw away a pail of water, unintentionally making another fish stick trip over it and poke its own eye. Ignoring the stupid fish being, he made his way down into the hole, the darkness making his skin turn clear, revealing a blue glowing undead yet still beating heart. There he moved down to the bottom floor where many crates and prison cells lay, and before the captain were three of the many brood brothers, Shadow, Crimson, and Azura. Okay. The pirate made his presence known to the three. So, he paused. One of my outposts got raided, southwest of Hatching Ground. Who did this? Shadow began to excite for his first victim. I'm gonna give him like a little like Hollywood African accent, you know? Who did this? Some random jungler. Apparently Bandoleer's got a girlfriend. I had phlegm in my throat. A slight chuckle ran from Blackheart's mouth, though it quickly turned into a cough. He was dying, or maybe it was karma for laughing at his own unfunny joke. I think I know who it is. Bandolette, isn't it? Do you know her location? The half of the dragon. Oh wait, the half dragon had a wide grin on his face, seeing her as another mate. There's a trail that she's carving near the outside of the volcano. Good brothers, off. Shadow commanded briskly, so eager for his new plan. Volcano's Edge Trail the next day. Bandolette hacked around the east of the volcano, her trail almost complete. Her clothing was caked in sweat. Must. And she gladly embraced the evidence of her hard work. Just a few more meters and she'd be done. Her dagger had dulled to the point of it being comparable to a pair of preschool scissors. Though it was nothing to worry about. If anything, her traps would save her. As the jungle warrior trekked and tore through the last of the jungle's vegetation, she finally let out a sigh. In that moment, she felt a strange texture under her boot, subsequently being launched in the air and found herself trapped in a net hanging from a tree.
Coward, show yourself.
That's her voice. And so Shadow, Crimson, and Azra, can you fuck off, menu? And Azra emerged from the bushes. Shadow, licking his teeth, Azra was the first to talk. You raided one for camps. You come with us for a talk.
I'm not coming with any of you lizard wannabes.
I beg your pardon? Shadow growled, emphasizing his acute fangs.
Go ahead. Try and kill me. I dare you.
Bandolier smirked, sharpening her knife against her light ammo bandolier. Moments later, she cut out the net, rolling down on the ground and pulling Azra into a headlock. Her dagger was just a millimeter away from the hybrid's neck.
Leave before I kill off this fellow of yours.
Go ahead, it's not like he's worth anything. Anyways, Crimson spat his spits, hitting Bandolier's hair. She merely stabbed Azra in the shoulder, pushing him away before pulling out a suppressed SMG. Okay. Crimson knew not to breathe fire in the tropics, instead dashing forward towards her and ducking Bandolier's thrown dagger. Shadow leapt up in the air, landing behind Bandolier. The girl elbowed him in the abdomen, knocking him back near the sharp drop that was a few meters steep. She then shifted her gaze to Crimson, only to find the world to go black. A few hours later, Bandolier slowly opened her eyes, finding herself staring at an arrangement of wooden floorboards. Wait, did I look up who this one is? Who the fuck is Bandolier? Isn't this... Which one's this? Oh. It's female Rambo. Finding herself staring at an arrangement of wooden floorboards, she shook her head, wincing before looking up. It was Shadow. The black armored beast kneeled in front of her, pressing her chin. Immediately, she tried to throw a punch to his face, only to find her arms restrained by metal restraints. She could only move her feet so far, a square foot at most, before she felt the cold chain restraints hit her ankles. Bandolier was stuck in quite the unfavorable position, optimal for doggy style. I don't know why you have to throw out that information, but okay. Her knees on the floor. At the same time, her arms went up and hanging from the short-chained restraints. She noticed that, unfortunately, she was naked. I don't know why they had to do that, but okay. I like how he also put, to clarify, her clothes were off. Her bandolier gone, she was just north of the pillar that stood in the center of the 3 prison cells of the pirate ship. Her arm restraints connected to a foundation, her leg restraints tied up to the pillar behind her. Some BDSM shit.
Let me go before I rip that smile off your dumbass lizard face.
Watch your attitude, Hybrid scowled. Slapping Bandolier in the face, she returned with a ball of spit.
What are you gonna do, huh? Torture me?
A deep chuckle came from Shadow. Oh, please, we're not so barbaric. He stood up, taking a deep breath. Unless you force us to be. Continue reading. Fuck, how long is this thing? Goddamn, there's another next part. Goddamn. Day 1. By the end of all this, you'll learn to respect us. You'll beg for our
White cranberry.
bask in our
White cranberry.
and plead us to always be with you, Shadow said raspily, stroking his slowly hardening.
White cranberry.
Alright. What kind of... Oh, wait. That's... wait. Fuck.
What kind of twisted sense of respect is this?
Bandolier muttered under her breath.
You're a ninja, yet you speak of respect like slavery.
She blurted out, her fiery spirit raging inside of her. Quiet. Crimson whipped out his burning tail into Bandolier's back, leaving a sharp burn scar. The girl winced, letting out a short cry of pain before burning it all into anger. Seeing rage filled her veins. Oh, these stupid lizard people would get a taste of her own medicine, an overdose of it, in fact. Or so she thought. First things first, if you want to live, you need to perform. You do a good job, you're fine. Fool. Bad job, you may as well be thrown into the storm. Shadow was hinting towards how a depletion of shield resulted in a slow and quite painful death, apparently like a million storms hitting you for just enough to make you feel pain. A tiny pinch constantly once every second, leaving you with 100 hellish seconds of life.
I'd rather starve, thank you very much.
She spat. Shadow chuckled, nudging against Crimson, and whispered something in his brother's ear. This was going to be fun to break.
I heard that.
Bandolet spat again. This will shut you up. Shadow gripped Bandolet's rebellious hair, spreading his legs a bit and shoving his down the back of her throat. The 12, I don't think you need to give us how big he is. You could have just said, okay, even close to full length. He let out a groan of pleasure, and the girl's mouth felt amazing. Benda immediately gagged from his trying to process what the fuck is going on through a few eye twitches. Shadow's memory reeked of cum, saliva, and a bit of shield. Must. Which did not make the great smell, let alone a nice taste. She focused her anger and humiliation onto her mouth and a bit down.
Hello,
she yelled, Shadow immediately taking out his Go ahead and bite as much as you want. Bite your teeth off. It'll be like a message. What the fuck? And so the dragon thrusted his now 16 in. Wow. How did this? Okay. Though less than half of it even went in her mouth. Crimson already knew what to do. He dreamt of this plan finally coming to fruition for weeks, walking behind Bandolet's surprisingly large, round, and plump ass. Kind of like a nice-looking watermelon. The red armored dragon pressed his butt on the pillar and slowly began to insert his dual-down claws into her. I bet that doesn't feel great at all. Pulling down her metal restraints in fruition, Bandolet was powerless to stop her tormentors, as she called them in her mind. Her legs squirmed around in what little free space she could move. She hated it. Already, the now deflowered jungle warrior was sick of Shadow's. No matter what he did, her face was stuck in an angered expression. For what seems to be ages, she daydreamed of how she'd rip off their cocks and hang them just before they die. And hang them again. A bit of her, however, was wondering, how would she ever see the day of light again? Unimpressive, Shadow growled. Brother, I have the loops, Crimson replied, taking his got a Bandolet's type and a bit of blood on it. She let a relieved exhale, though she dared not show any weakness. What is it? Shadow grumbled, his cock nowhere close to climax. The girl, Crimson licked her back with pleasure. I think she may have been a virgin before this. Shadow bursted out laughing, taking his cock out of Bandolet's mouth, and the girl's cheeks flushing bright red. Pity! I suppose you weren't good enough for Bandolier, eh?
at least you have to rape people to get around. I'm always rejecting incels.
She replied, not wanting to think of her boyfriend. And it wasn't his choice. It was mine to leave him. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Oh, how lonely you must have been. The girl rolling her eyes, though deep down, there was a bit of resentment inside of her. All she wanted to do was just live in secrecy with him. Until first, Moisty Meyer disappeared. Nobody knew that she even existed. But that was what she wanted. Bandolier had told her stories about how men would be impulsive on the island, often the most deranged of them resorting to rape. It kind of reflected crimson and shadow. Out of the corner of Bandolet's eye, she could see Azra with his blue ninja outfit calmly moving around the crates of food. Weak. Before she could recall any more of her previous memories, Shadow slapped her with his
White cranberry?
Obviously, you don't have too much experience,
No shit.
she spat. So you're going to learn.
Wow, didn't know this was Fort Hobbs University.
What is Fort Hub? There's nothing about it. Okay. Shadow whipped her face with his massive, now 20-inch member again. Learn.
No,
Another slap. Learn, he said in a growing frustration.
no,
Another slap. This one was especially hard. I said learn. He said again, pissed off.
no.
Fourth slap. Learn, he yelled in a hostile, breakneck manner.
When you get your wings.
Whoop. Shadow let out a roar that shook the room, slapping her face even harder to leave behind a bruise before Crimson whipped her back with another burning scar. Shadow shoved his first 5 inches down Bandolet's throat, showing Crimson a strange look. 5 inches was quite surprising for a virgin. From the likes of Shadow, the Bandolet was to learn to swallow down all of the hybrid's members, regardless of size. I want you to take a deep breath. Calm yourself down if you haven't already. Just try it. It won't kill you now, won't it? He tightened his grip on the girl's head. Much of his
White cranberry?
still outside of her mouth. Bandolet groaned regretfully, pausing to take a deep breath. Calm down. You can kill them later, she thought to herself. Good. Crimson stuck a bit of his dulled claw into her
White cranberry?
searching for her G-spot. But surprisingly, he wouldn't find it. Listen to us, and you'll be rewarded. He took his cock out to expect some kind of semi-agreeing feedback, or neutral at least.
You call that a reward? That shit hurt.
Your body says otherwise, Crimson said raspily, holding up 2 of his fingers absolutely soaked in her
White cranberry?
virgin excitement.
That's just.
Bandolet paused. She shouldn't have enjoyed that stupid dragon behind her sticking his fingers into her places.
That's just because I've got 2 dicks around me. Not to mention, this place smells like sex. Or however it smells.
Shadow simply chuckled and took a kiss
White cranberry?
down the girl's throat. He found out that after her deep breathing and her continued deep breathing, he could fit. Okay, just a bit down more. Maybe half an inch, a centimeter or so. He'd slowly inch his cock deeper until her gag reflex forced him to back out, constantly telling her to try and calm down. Bandolet, with nothing to do, would do so, slowly allowing more of the dragon's girthy member down. Sometimes she would hold about 8 inches in for about 30 seconds, sometimes just 5. Every time she hit a new milestone, Crimson would happily provide her with the stimulation of her G-spot, which she never found. For hours they would do this. Bandolet struggled to keep her hatred for them. Crimson's reward just felt so nice. By the end of 8 inches of Shadow's cock
White cranberry?
was able to go without Bandolet's gag reflex finally made a big enough effect to regurgitate his
White cranberry?
away. Good girl. Shadow unchained her arms, Bandolet immediately flattering down to the floor in exhaustion. She squeezed her hands into tight fists and slammed down the wood in vain. She couldn't even make a sound due to her lack of energy. Azura walked in about half an hour later, handing Bandolet a chug jug. Fuck yeah, here we go. Some gamer subs. The blue hybrid politely walked into the room, kneeling down with grace. Instead of shoving his cock down her throat or beating her, he looked to treat her burns. How are your burns?
Don't act so friendly now on me.
The jungler spat. I would not like to see you die from infection. I find you quite unique.
I drink a chug. I'm fine.
The affliction's going to kill you. Now come on, I don't want to be having to chin you up now, do I? Bandalet sighed, nodding. Azura applied some kind of fluid, making her burns feel like they were burning, though in reality it was a remedy that would seal her scars overnight, like a regenerative coconut. But it was a coconut, wasn't it? I think it was a coconut. Before walking away, Azura dimmed down the lamps and silently left Bandalet in the near dark. Goddamn, how many days are there? That's one super fucking long. Oh, to be continued. Okay, so we this is the last one, I guess. Day 2. The whole night prior, Bandalet had been sawing the chains, her metal restraints against a sharp point on the pillar, perhaps about 10% of the way to freedom, which for sawing 2 restraints at the same time was pretty good in Bandalet's mind. 9 more days of this bullshit and she'd be gone. The whole ship too. Azura woke from his nightly slumber, always being the last one to bed and the first one up. His 2 other brothers slept in a single hammock. They're pretty fucking gay. Though Azura's hammock was tied to another one on top, it was empty and always had been. There were still 2 more eggs in his father's throne room, though, so we can expect a company to fill that top bunk soon. Plus, there were plenty of more spread out across the island that nobody knew about. Snapping out of that moment, Azura briskly pushed the door to the rest of the bottom floor. What happened to the big old pirate? What happened to him? Lamp after lamp, he slowly brought light to the bottom floor. It'd still take some time for most of the girls to wake up, which of course was routine. The moment he walked over the Bandalet, though, she shot him a threatening glance. Why are you awake? He whispered, readying the arm restraints.
That's not for you to worry.
They'll make you faint of exhaustion. Now come on, raise your arms.
I'm not putting that restraint on.
Bandalet hissed. With a slight chuckle, Azura knocked her out with a move so quick and silent that would seem like he did nothing, and that Bandalet had fallen unconscious on her own. God damn. This guy's he's a light on his feet. Lifting Bandalet's surprisingly muscular arms, he barely managed to hold her right arm without noise, chinning up her wrist with a loud clamp that luckily didn't wake anyone up. Quickly finishing the other arm, he found himself quite impressed by her physical state. Not even him was so in shape when she was first brought on the ship. Azura could only ponder what Bandalet did for a living. Collect bullets, steal food, terrorize the local populace. None of those made sense. But then again, Azura's own life didn't make sense. He wasn't strong and lustful like his brothers, and was never appreciated by the brood. Why, of all things? That was what he'd been asking himself for the longest time. Azura would often find himself questioning his existence, his training, his role of the brood. Why have so much training just to brew shields, or to breed and rape women almost every day? 1 hour later, the blue cloth dragon made his way back to Bandalet, waking her up with a splash of cold water. He handed her a toothbrush and a breath-changing mouthwash, the smell tailored to Shadow and Crimson's preference. As usual, Bandalet, with her free will still raging inside her, rejected Azura's objections. He shrugged. If she couldn't listen to his calm request, then his brothers could always take care of it. It wasn't his problem, and he kind of enjoyed his brother's frustration with the new girl, and how she wasn't submitting like how they'd planned. Heading back to his hammock, he woke both of his brothers up to his breakfast, bowing before them and telling them to enjoy. Brother, you don't have to act so formal. You should enjoy yourself more often, Crimson grinned. No, it's a dishonor, and you two should know better, Azura snapped, looking at his brothers in both resentment and a slight feeling of loss. It's honorable since we're doing it for the brood. Still, what happened with your morals? Have they all but disappeared since our alliance with the pirates? No, I've just been in real punishing mood. Shadow chuckled, hinting to how he'd so obnoxiously expressed his sadistic sense of pleasure to everybody, every fish on the boat for weeks now. Jesus fucking Christ. Can you imagine a shark, like a dragon fucking a little fish? Like, like watching I don't know, just watching like an full-fledged informed axial, what's it, Hexorix, fucking a Magikarp. That's what it would look like in my eyes. After an awkward pause, Azura changed the topic. I met with Plague last night. I got some of those birth control potions that you wanted. No side effects unless you count horniness as one. Wow, brother. You've been quite different lately, Shadow smirked. I'm trying to understand why you two enjoy it so much. It just seems wrong. Do you want to overthrow the Ice King? Crimson chimed in. Yes. Then join us on breeding day. Become a real hybrid. Maybe. They continued chatting for a bit. Shadow finally cutting in that he and Crimson were missing out on their fun time. 9:30 a.m. It's already day 3. Goddamn. Okay. Bandit woke up with a loud trudging of Shadow and Crimson's feet, shooting them both a death stare. Before she could try to do anything, though, her hand restraints once again held her useless to stop them. Today seemed more powerless, though, her muscles aching much quicker from her pulls. In fact, they did so far too quick. Just a few seconds of her pulling at her restraints, and Bandit found herself sweating at full capacity. Perhaps that all-nighter wasn't a good idea. Ready to learn, Jungle Girl?
I'd rather die.
Shadow thrusted his first 8 inches of his back down her throat. Bandit's mouth tapping into that sweet muscle memory. It put in what she did for hours the other day. The routine continued on, Shadow pushing an extra inch of his cock down her throat for half a minute, letting Bandit gag and repeating. Once she'd last a minute without gagging upon his Shadow would tingle her once more. And then Shadow would have his 1 inch deeper for the rest of the session. Once he managed to fit his 10 inches in, Bandit could feel the action etched in her mind. Her mouth began to automatically do this as his would demand. After about an hour, Bandit began to feel weary. Her eyes would droop every so often, the girl working extra hard not to falter before Crimson's next reward, which would just barely keep her awake in time for the next. Though her energy was running thin, and Shadow noticed. What did you do last night, Jungle Girl? Shadow took his cock out of her, Crimson hot-dogging her ass with pleasure.
Your damn floorboards are impossible to sleep on.
Oh, are they? Bandit was too tired to think of something clever to come back with. Well, if they're so hard to sleep on, then I shouldn't see you falling asleep for the rest of the day. She let out a meek yet noticeable gulp, regretting that she did last night. Wait, no. Why was she feeling ashamed of herself for trying to escape this place? No. This was just some stupid mind trick that Shadow was playing. Ugh, why did she even bother remembering that dumbass name? God damn it. What's on your mind, girl? Shadow said with a grin, his cock rubbing against Bandit's face. She didn't answer, only giving him a hostile glare, her tired eyes barely maintaining a serious intensity. I know what you did last night. I'm not dumb.
You're right. Actually, you're not dumb. You're fucking brain dead.
Bandit smirked, looking at Shadow to see his reaction, only to be disappointed. Sorry, what were you trying to say? Shadow shoved his to Bandit. Oh my god. She cried with a light in her eyes, wincing as she'd optimized her throat for Shadow liking. With a sigh, the girl would leave her eyes half closed, ready to feel more of the hibiscus get pushed down her throat. Good. Shadow grinned, Bandit rolling her eyes. I know you're trying to escape. The ruthless thrust in Shadow's
Sprite cranberry.
was now 12 inches deep. Goddamn, brother. The girl was struggling to breathe. So heroic. You breaking through these chains to take out everyone on the boat. 13 inches. You think you're so smart, don't you, dear? 14 inches. That you could. 14 and a half. Misbehave while we weren't watching. 15 inches deep. Bandolit's muffled cries were ignored, Shadow pushing on. And we don't want any of that, now do we? The poor girl, in tears, couldn't even try to answer. The Hyper's cock was balls deep. Do we? In bold and capital letters. She let out a desperate muffled yes, nodding as well before starting to choke. Good girl. Shadow grinned, taking his cock out and stroking it, watching Bandolit gasp for air. The girl clenching her teeth in anguish. Tears ran down her cheeks, and she let out a futile roar, lunging towards him, only to be stopped by both the grip of Crimson and her anger retreated, Bandolit letting herself drift into a doggy-style-like position. Not just a broken girl. Crimson would continue rubbing his cock against her butt, and Shadow put his cock down into Bandolit's throat and once again got ready to learn. 11 p.m. day 3. Bandolit chugged down her shields with quite visible sense of desperation, immediately collapsing down to the floor with fatigue. She was lucky she even got shield to drink after how she tried to escape last night. Before she could contemplate any longer, she noticed Shadow's torturous presence and forced herself up off the ground. Bandolit was in a still crawl position on her hands and shins on the floor. She back bent so that her head could be just high enough to suck on Shadow's cock. She wasn't restrained, but she wouldn't try to escape. Not again. That's okay. Look so eager. Shadow grinned with Bandolit's broken eyes, not expecting a response. Rightfully so, she did it. He laid his member on her face before shoving it back into her mouth. Okay. So that's the same thing. Tears formed into Bandolit's eyes. Okay. With his 4 inches out, only thrust it balls deep again. His became very nice and sloppy. Okay. So she just ended up choking constantly. Bandolit quickly became lightheaded, her body demanding oxygen. Shadow winced, putting in some work into his hips, thrusting his faster and faster. Okay. Are we going to get some weird numbers? Nope. He'd start to thrust more aggressively, forcing Bandolit's back to arch. Saliva starting to smear her face. That's fucking disgusting. Beginning to pant heavily, the hybrid bent his knees, legs trembling with pleasure. His arms were heavy. Mom spaghetti. Bandolit gasped for air, coughing out tons of saliva, making a tiny puddle. Shadow would force her chin upwards, her eyes focused on his cock. And the hybrid was stroking his cock rapidly, edging it to as much cum as possible. You worked hard, I must say, Bandolit. She looked up at him in dreads, her arms laying on her thighs, on her kneecaps and toes. Here's your reward. And he just slimed her like it was a Nickelodeon fucking award show. Good girl now. How'd you like the nice, long, warm shower? She didn't like what that meant, judging by the tone. Please, she muttered before. Shadow let out a loud groan of pleasure. Now it's the fucking slime. Dude, yeah, oh, wow. Mounds and mounds of it would pour down onto her face. Okay. Her nose soon got clogged up. She got to plunge them bitches out. The seemingly never-ending stream of cum, okay, it just covered her. Crimson stood behind her, shooting out his seat. I hate that word. All Bandolit felt was the warmth of her captors covering every spot of her body. It smelled pretty good. That's kind of gay. She wasn't going to lie. like something newly birthed into this world. Shadow was still coming on. Okay, wow, Jesus Christ, what is this? A fucking slime machine? It did kind of feel like a nice shower. A puddle soon formed. What the fuck? And she'd lie down in it. Lady Shadow. Oh, why? Why would you do this? Shadow would lift Mandolin's covered body from the puddle lying down below her and place her back on top of him. And stuck his drained cock up a pussy. Crimson would lie on her back as well, sticking his cock into her asshole. The two hybrids sandwiched her in their weighty scales, and she could barely breathe. And she'd have to sleep like that for the rest of the night. Great. That's something. Okay. I expected I don't know what to expect from these. What the fuck am I saying? And just for a Christmas special, I brought one up. It doesn't seem that long. God. This one's called Save the Water. Save the Hot Water. And carry my microphone all the way over here. Can I just unscrew this and hold it? Alright. So now I'm holding this bitch. This is a Sonic fanfiction. Alright. So it seems like in the beginning of this, it has, what seems to be dialogue between, the writer and someone else. Gwyneth Paltrow? Just says Gwen, so Gwyneth Paltrow. So we'll start at the first sentence. I do not own any of the characters, sadly. They belong to Sega. I want to dedicate this one to Purple Demon 21 or Nathaniel. Dude, you were just epic. I love you. Can I look that up? Oh my fucking god, this is disgusting. Lemon, homosexuality, and profane language. Let me just read the titles of these. College lovers, puberty sure does suck, and how it feels to be loved. Nope, not about it. We got a broadband, we gotta make the band stronger. Alright. Arousal. That was the first thing that coursed through the black hedgehog's body as he glanced at the cobalt hedgehog standing behind him. When he thought of any female creature, he didn't feel like this. Even his ex-girlfriend. What was it? Shadow interested in a human girl? That's bestiality, if I believe. No female managed to make him feel this way. He felt about this male hedge. Wait, what? Is this some gay shit? You didn't understand why he felt the emotion. What was going inside of him? That was right. You shouldn't feel this way about the blue hedgehog. This is some gay shit. That was just so wrong. I meant, he was good. Shadow, you okay? Sonic's voice brought him out of the thoughts and back to the shower. They're fucking showering. They're fucking gay. This is some gay ass shit. Yes, I was just thinking, he said. And he was glad that he was facing away from Sonic, or he would have seen the mild erection and the blush on Shadow was getting from thinking about him. He held out his hand in Sonic's direction. Can you hand me the soap? He felt the warm, slippery bar land in his hand, and he lathered up his arms with it. Okay, soap bars are not fucking warm. They're fucking cold. Those are some cold ass shits. No one uses soap bars. If you use a soap bar, you're a fucking faggot. God, he hated having to take showers with him. I would too, because that's fucking gay. Long story short, the two hedgehogs were teenage roommates. Can we look at how old Sonic is supposed to be? Okay, so Sonic is 46. And they don't say anything about Shadow. So, if anything, this is rape. If we're going to throw that ball out there, that's what this is. Sonic wanted to save the hot water, so to do that, he had to come up with an utterly brilliant idea of taking the showers at the same time. And though it meant that they were using half the water, it meant that they had to get fully naked in front of each other. One sacrifice for a good thing won't hurt anyone, Sonic had said as he stepped into the shower for the first time. All Shadow thought was, well, isn't this just great? Shadow was still self-conscious. Can I pull out this cover so you guys can hear me fucking breathe like a mouth breather? You hear me pronunciate every capital B and T's. I have a weird speech impediment. Also, you can hear me breathe too. My voice didn't crack, yours did, fucking faggot. Sonic looked over at Shadow as he washed under his arms. He thought the ebony hedgehog looked, what was the word, cute, sexy, both. This is very, I don't like this. Why did God put me on this fucking earth? And told himself not to give Shadow any clue that he was gay. This is so fucking gay. Felt himself get a little harder, and he wasn't sure if he could contain his secret too long. Then, just by lucky, he caught a glimpse of Shadow's erection, and he smiled slightly. This may actually be easier than I thought it would be, he said to himself. Shadow suddenly felt Sonic's hand grab his arm and twist him around, so they were facing each other. He felt his soft lips connect to Sonic's. His eyes shot wide open in surprise, and he pushed Sonic away before his erection grew any larger and started to rub against Sonic. He gently ran his finger over his lips, where his roommate of the same sex had just kissed him. Sonic, what was that? He felt heat warm his face as his muzzle turned bright red. He knew exactly what it was, but he didn't want to believe it, because that's gay shit. It was just a little kiss. Sonic grinned with his gay fucking face. You know you liked it. Look at yourself. When the black hedgehog looked at himself, he did see that it had grown a bit. His blush grew deeper and covered his mouth, and that his hand in a way that Sonic would look really girly and cute. Shadow tried to turn away from the cobalt. He's not a cobalt. He's a fucking hedgehog. Relax, the hedgehog said, and then this time harder, stronger, and more passionate. Just yes. What every straight couple should do. You should, right now, pause this video and go kiss your fucking wife. You know, right on the cheek, right on the fucking lips. You know, up north, down south, wherever, you know? Because that's the American dream that we're here for. In Sonic's own mind, he was having a wild time. This was obviously the first time Shadow had French kissed. Ew. And it was cute how sometimes he would mess up their little tongue dance and how he'd have to start again. He decided to take a step further, and the hedgehog wrapped his hand around his ebony erection, gently rubbing it. The Shadow disconnected the kiss and let out a loud moan, making Sonic grin. You're so sensitive, he purred coyly. I don't think that's a word. This was not a new emotion for Sonic. Shadow, he had felt this before, but only by his own hands. That's a sin too. He had never been touched by someone else in such a way. He preferred this immensely. Keep going. I'm not doing that. Nope, much obliged. Shadow moaned louder. The blue hedgehog, there you go, grinned playfully, his heart growing. Something's telling me you're really enjoying this as much as I am. Shadow made eye contact with him, ruby red eyes meeting emerald green one. He was about to speak again, but Sonic pressed his lips against his, cutting him off short, and just as soon as Shadow was going to return the kiss, Sonic pulled away with a grin, moved down Sonic's body. And this is pretty gay. Basically he uses his tongue to do stuff. Sonic, that feels good. This is pretty fucking gay. Little Stink, put up a counter of how many times I say this is fucking gay. Put it at the beginning of this one. Shadow, you're such a tease. That's... Yes, Shadow grinned and his hand sped fat up, and the pre-cum started dripping off of Sonic's. And it was mixing in with the water, shower water. At this point, they're still using a lot of hot water. Shadow, stop. I'm too close. Shadow let go of Sonic's and licked it all up. He didn't do it, just the pre from his hand seductively. When Sonic regained composure and caught sight of Shadow, he knew that he wanted to do next. He wrapped his arms around Shadow's waist and kissed him gently. And when Shadow was returning the kiss, his hand slipped down and started to caress Shadow's rear entrance. I don't know what UK means, UKE, but that must mean gay. To answer his question, Shadow sat down on the laid back in the shower smirking. I can't do this. I just want to read this line. Even though I said it's done. So, Amy sneered at Shadow with her arms crossed under her breast. How does it feel to be rooming with a fag like Sonic? Alright guys, thank you so much for listening. This is fucking cancerous. I'm never going to do this again. This kind of weird combination. I will have to read fanfiction because how else am I going to get views on this channel? Anywho, make sure you like and subscribe so we get enough money so I can buy my dog right here some fucking play toys. He doesn't have any. As of now, he's chewing on a sock with a water bottle in it. Hope you guys enjoy and just fuck off.
You're too slow!